Okay,
All right, we are now broadcasting live on YouTube for tonight. So we are on for our meeting. We have the flag on the screen. First of all, introductions for the people that are in the room right now that are in here is I'm Fire Chief Eric Funkhauser, and I have the Deputy Chief Mike Pruden here with me as well. So we're in the actual room itself. Amanda, I will go ahead and at this point turn it over to you. If you want to go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll go down through the agenda.
Yeah. So we will call the meeting to order, and we'll start with Pledge of Allegiance. They're all in mute.
That's fine.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So then we will do the minute. Has everyone had an opportunity to look over the minutes from the March 11th, 2020 meeting?
Yes.
Yep. Yes. Move to approve. Second. Second.
Opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. So now we're gonna go to the financial statement.
Okay, now I'm unmuted. Did you guys get the updated claims docket that I just sent out about 22?
Yes.
Okay, it just had 3 additions and they were all 3 for insurance. This just needed to be added.
Which ones were they, Caitlin?
There were 3 Gregory and Appels.
On the Gregory and Appel, Caitlin, that 14,424. Was that what we looked? Is that the same that we looked at last month? I thought it was like $9,000 or $10,000. Or we talking
I
about
didn't think that there were any on last month's. I haven't seen it.
Just through the discussion, I thought it might be.
Oh, I wasn't at the last meeting. I am sorry. I'm not sure if that's what you guys talked about or not.
Hey, Dennis, just to answer that question, those 3 bills right there are the property and casualty insurance, the workman's comp insurance, the stuff that we discussed last month, which is the yearly renewal. So these are the first. One of them's a quarterly payment, one of them's a semi-annual. I think the other one might be an annual payment.
Okay.
We're still seeing a $9,000 drop in overall costs, $9,500 like we talked about. This is just the installments. Those are the first round of installments for this year.
Okay.
What was the Ferro Mechanical? Was that the plug line of it? Station? Who's up there?
Quick on the
Sorry, give me just a second.
Oh, that was the sink up there, maybe.
Oh, the $495 for the plug line.
Yeah.
It says for the drain issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? She's asking if there are any other questions
To the group.
I just.
Okay, Okay.
Amanda,
so
just a reminder that a vote needs to be by roll call under circumstances.
Okay. Do you need to say your name and then for a second? Is that what you're asking, Eric?
Yes.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to pay the bills, Amanda.
I'll second that.
Eric? Angela Pruitt. All those in favor? Say aye.
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 It needs to be by roll call, Amanda,
Okay, so,
one at a time.
okay. Amanda Martin,
Dennis Stewart, aye. Steve Duke, aye.
Angela Pruitt, aye.
Can you, the one that can't log in, it says that it's, can't join an audio process. If I give you an email, call Erica real quick and get him in. Yeah, I just don't want to put it on the screen again.
Can you unmute Brent?
right?
Can you unmute Brent?
Aye. Get that?
Yes.
Okay, right back. On the sheet that they have to sign, can they sign that by e-signature, or how do I get that signed so that I have proof that I can pay the bills? Or can I use them saying that they did it in the meeting minutes? Is that fine?
It's fine, or e-sign, I think we have flexibility on that. Caitlin?
Okay.
So we all don't have to sign, can we just like authorize Amanda to here to sign it for all of us?
Hey, Chief Sean Harris, I think I made it.
Okay, thank you.
I think that's fine if everyone agrees to delegate that responsibility to Amanda.
Brandon, sign.
Okay, so if we are ready to look at the appropriation report, do you want to have it in front of you, or do you want me to share it by screen, or whatever works for everyone?
I have nothing in front of me,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Let me see if this will let me do this pretty easily. Be the Excel version, just because for whatever reason it's not letting me do my PDF version, so I'm hoping that's okay with you. Okay. So, cash balances as of March 31st, 2020. Your general fund has $806,000, special fire cum $723,000, special fire debt payment $110,000, 2018 general obligation bonds $224,000, and your rainy day $946,000. As always, I'm just going to skip, for those of you who do have it in front of you, the receipts, the disbursements, the outstanding debt, and go ahead and go to the appropriations tab inside. So looking just at the combined fire and ambulance, personal services, everything looks good. Health insurance is catching up slowly, but there are no issues there. Supplies, if you remember last month, there were more than just the one kind of 5% expected remaining. And then in other services and charges, you have professional services. the insurance, which is, it's technically fine. I just wanted to go ahead and highlight it and let you know that the first semi-annual payment has been made. Information technology and repairs and maintenance are below. I'm working with Chief right now. He's going through all of the other services and charges line items to see if there's some maybe miscodings or some stuff that we need to move to CapCum to align those a little bit better. But like I said, that's a work in process. And then your CUM fire, you have 88% left. That's looking just fine. Unless you guys want to go through the fire only and the ambulance only, I will just skip over that. This is the page that I really want to take a minute to focus on because there are some different projections in light of what, I think that's the one you guys use. Chief, I don't know if you want to just wait until I'm done with everything and you can make that a point on your topics, or if you want to chime in now, you just let me know.
We're good. I'll discuss it once you're done.
Okay, perfect. So that's our big topic for March. As we move down to April, the property taxes, the 37,904, that is what is actually it's actually in your account now. That was your first advancement for this year for property taxes. If we kind of focus on property taxes for a minute, since they have postponed to be collected 60 days, we have made some assumptions ongoing to hopefully make sure that cash flow is fine. And as you're going to have a August settlement, and they're not calling it a settlement, but it's kind of to pick up what you didn't receive in June. So these two together should be pretty close. Our assumptions are 90% of what you should have collected for June. And then December settlement should be the exact same. We are only for conservative planning purposes and to make sure that there will be no issues with your cash flow, assuming that you will only collect 90% of your property taxes this year. Do I honestly expect that? Probably not, because all taxes are still due. It's just how they're coming in. So as we go through the months, we'll definitely update this cash flow, especially for the property taxes, to make sure that it is in line with kind of what the county's doing. That being said, excess tax, CVET, and not going to change. However, you may see a potential decrease in a couple of years because it is based on 2 years prior. So your lit this year is actually based on 2018. From the rainy day to the debt payment fund for $10,000 or whatever you guys want to do. It's just a plug to get you into the positive. Whatever that number you guys want it to be, I can have that transfer resolution ready for the next meeting so that you guys can approve it, and we can go ahead and make that transfer and make sure that there's enough money in there. It has a healthy cash balance. We are assuming 90% collected on all of your property tax funds. So, like I said, just to reiterate, we will update that as necessary as we see what we're going to do. Besides that, I haven't made any different. Do you have a question? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought it keeps on flashing back for whatever reason. I'm not used to Zoom, but as far as that goes, you'll see your transfer over here in the rainy day as well. It's just the opposite to fund that. Besides that, I don't have anything else unless you have any questions. Expecting out for the entire year, so I would assume 10,000 is enough. As long, I mean, I can't really tell you. I've done my best to assume. Definitely bump that up. It wouldn't hurt to, obviously, so we don't have to do this 2 times. And your rainy day can definitely support it, whatever it may be.
Caitlin, I would think that whatever I mean, we're paying you to do that. I would think whatever you see fit, whatever you think,
Okay,
we would all take your recommendation, I would imagine.
okay, perfect. Then I will just have it ready for the next meeting. I'll probably bump it a little bit. I just stuck that 10,000 just to show you that we did need something. I'll probably bump it to maybe 25,000 just to make sure that we cover your debt payments, obviously.
Okay, all right.
Nobody else has any questions, I will mute myself and take my.
Should pay us by December.
That's fine, thank you.
Uh-huh. Caitlin, Chief, are you ready?
Yeah, are you guys approved and good with the financials?
Did something happen or I don't know if Amanda was saying something to me?
Yeah, sorry, Amanda, are you guys done with the financials and ready to move on to my report at this time?
You might hear a mute button.
Yes, I'm having really bad reception problems down here. So yeah, if you want to go on, and thank you, Caitlin.
Absolutely, you just cut out, I just wanted to make sure you were good, thank you.
Thanks, Caitlin.
Absolutely.
All right, I'll go ahead and jump into some of my topics that I have for tonight. The first one, I'll go ahead and speak on what Caitlin was talking about. We did get an answer today on EMS revenue. So you guys did see that the last 2 months that revenue is, down. We normally only bill for about 130,000 a month. So you'll start seeing it. So it's through the first 8 days, there's already been 14 or 15,000. Go down my list tonight of some of the items that I have. We are still, and I don't know if you guys have my report in front of you. I'm not sure if you do or not, but Section 201 septic information. Kevin is in the room currently, but Kevin, are there any new updates where we're at right now with that?
So with the,
You may have to step forward a little bit so that I can hear you. Kevin's gonna speak real fast on just the septic updates and where we're at with that project as well.
yeah, so we've reached out to a couple of property owners, but with the coronavirus and so forth, we've kind of backed off a little bit. We have a couple more property owners that we still need to contact by phone. So we're still working on the easements and we'll start to work on the design once we know if we can cross certain properties. That's kind of the phase we're in right now.
All right. Was everybody able to hear what he was saying on that? All right. So there's no feedback now. Kevin basically said right now where we're at with the coronavirus. They've kind of backed off on talking to all the property owners at this time. They were working down that path currently, but it's kind of put a little bit of a hindrance on us on working on those easements at this time. They are continuing to move forward with that in the future, but we'll get to that here as we move forward and things go back to normal here in the next month, hopefully.
Yep.
So, anybody have any questions on that before we move on to the next topic? If you do, just hit unmute real quick and we'll take any questions. All right. Next topic that we have on the list is the Center Grove Public Safety Building Update. You're probably going to hear a couple of these tonight. I think it's going to be kind of the last meeting that we had at Center Grove Schools. Currently at this time, I don't believe they were going to accept the bids for that building. So that's the last I've heard on it. And then they're kind of working on what the next step is and where it goes from here. So as I'm giving you an update, tonight, I can tell you right now that they did not accept the bids, but I can't tell you where it goes from here. So we're going to be working through that, obviously, with schools being shut down through the end of the year. We'll still reach out and try and have some communication on that and keep up with what is going on. But I'll hope to have another update for you at the May meeting once we get to that point. So. All right. Next thing I have on the list is the training facility update for 202s. The good news is we were issued all the permits that we needed for that building. JLA is going to begin doing the dirt work here, I believe, tomorrow, starting this week. So that's coming up. We're going to start moving dirt up there at Station 2, getting ready for the actual training facility barn out back to be built. I was talking to Chief Ramey the other day. It looks like we're talking 3 to 4 weeks for Truster to be able to come in and start their construction as well. We have all permits in place. We're ready to go. Eric, this will be a question for you as we're doing this. We've already approved the contracts for the work for that to be done. And I believe that we said that Dennis and Brent would be the 2 members of the board that were gonna basically approve work as it was going and approve invoice. And I guess what I'm asking tonight is, can Brent and Dennis, say that it's good to go, and then Amanda approve it basically for payment at that point for Caitlin to make the payment versus having to wait a month at a time for this.
Whatever the contracts say.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll have to research the JLA contract and just make sure that we're good on that. But are we still good on Dennis and Brent, basically signing off on the work as we go forward?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's where we're at. I'm hoping the next couple of weeks we'll start building and be at that point. So there'll be more information to come. I'll be sending emails out and keeping you updated as things happen, and I'll try and send some pictures as we're doing it up there and as the work's getting completed. So you'll kind of know where we're at. And then Dennis and Brent will be the representatives of the board that'll be working with the contractors to make sure everything's being completed how we want it done. So do I have any questions on the training facility update?
Hey, Eric, as JLA does their dirt work, and Jeremy get a hold of me or Brent one and let us kind of know the process and how that's going.
Yep, absolutely. I will put him in direct contact with you guys and let him work with you guys.
He said he had some things going on, but when they got ready, he pulled some guys off and they get started on.
All right. As we're moving down, I always try to keep you informed of large purchases that we're making. I told you by email that we've already spent $34,000 on gear recently because we have hired all the new full-time employees, got all their gear taken care of, and a few extra employees that needed some helmets, gloves, hoods, different things like that the other day. So we're waiting on those currently. $1,000 worth of helmets, gloves, hoods, different things like that the other day. So we're waiting on those currently. Obviously, with the coronavirus, everybody's kind of backlogged and waiting on some of these supplies. We are getting ready to do another large purchase of gear. We brought on 11 part-time employees recently. So we were going to outfit them. So, buying all the gear for them as well and everything else is going to cost roughly, $35,000 to $37,000, somewhere in that range is what I'm going to be doing for the PE. I have talked with Caitlin. She's well aware of what we're looking at right now, and that will be coming out of the CAP funds. And then some of that will also be coming out of a combination of the 2018 bond. So some of that money for the first large purchase will come out of the bond. Some of it will come out of CAP. And as we're moving forward, we have fully staffed trucks on a daily basis, which is nice. So we just, along with the extra employees comes the extra expenses along with putting in gear as well. So any questions on that before I move on? I have a coronavirus update, which is obviously pretty much taken over every one of our lives for Deputy Chief Pruitt here in just a second, and kind of give you an update on where we're at and what we've got going on, which has been nonstop for the past couple of weeks. I do want to give you one quick, and in the time that we're in right now, so it doesn't affect benefits and everything else as we're moving forward. I have opened up for the part-time employees to be able to work 24-hour shifts, and I'm sorry, I don't have the date off the top of my head, but I believe it's May 1st. So it's basically through the next 28-day cycle. AccuPay is aware of it. They said that that's perfectly fine. It's a benefit to us at this time. They can't do it for the full year or for so many months in a row, but according to the guidelines, they are allowed to work 24-hour shifts and go over that threshold for the next 28 days. So we have enacted that already. That's actually helping us fill shifts and allowing the part-time personnel to pick extra hours during this time as well and help us out. So that's being taken care of. At this time, I'll go ahead and turn it over to
going on. It's brought a whole new set of challenges to us on a daily
Chief
basis.
Pruitt needs to unmute.
No. Did you get yours?
Yeah, I'll mute, let you go on this.
Okay.
See if you can.
Yeah, I can do that. Can you hear me now? Go back to this.
Yes.
This time like yours. That's what.
All right, sorry, we're gonna do something different. He's gonna stay on my computer because it's got a bad echo when he goes on. So let him talk real quick and see if you can hear him real
Can you
fast.
hear me fine? Okay, I'm assuming that you can hear me. No?
Yeah, we're unmuted.
Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So the last few weeks have been extremely busy with a whole new challenge of dealing with a hidden challenge to us called the coronavirus, which huge for not only us but as countywide, because we've been working as a joint incident management team. We've been super involved in that. Eric's one of the incident commanders for that, and so we've been working with all the other county agencies daily to make sure that, one, we're meeting all the needs of our public safety agencies or any agent or outside groups like, say, extended care facilities, hospitals, working with them to make sure we don't have any surprises. Now, surprises do happen, but we're tackling them pretty quick. So our biggest things around here are everybody's been healthy. That's awesome. Knock on wood, we hope it stays that way because some agencies haven't had that luck. Where they've had a couple of cases of people come up positive. So our people around here have been practicing good hygiene. They've been taking good care of themselves. The guys been keeping the station, the apparatus clean. They've been using their minds to come up with new ways to combat the virus, not only here in the facility, but out on the street. We've been responding as an isolation ambulance to at least half the county. And we have an ambulance that's basically stripped down with no equipment on it. We send it out along with our primary ambulance to go to the scenes where we have patients that are high suspect of having the virus and transporting them to an appropriate facility. So we started doing that early on. White River's doing the same thing. So that's worked out very well, but everybody's got a good attitude so far. It's been a learning experience every day. I don't care how many years you've been in this business, why you learn something new with the challenges that are coming along with this. So we hope after we get, maybe next week will be our peak. We don't know. We're hoping that's what they're calling for, at least in the Indianapolis area. But I got a feeling there's going to be some sad stories come out over the next 2 weeks. We expect there's probably going to be more deaths from the virus in the county, unfortunately. And the numbers will continue to go up. That's a good thing. And we just spoke with our long-term facility. They don't have any positive cases yet, so that's good for us and good for them, obviously. So, but we're taking lots of precautions these days. Our PPE levels, we're doing okay. We were very fortunate that we were locked in with Indianapolis EMS to supply us with our EMS supplies because a lot of agencies didn't even have that, and they kind of paid for it a little bit. They're catching up, so we've been pretty fortunate to stay on top of that. So that's all I got. If anybody got any questions? Awesome. So
He's done for the past 3 or 4 weeks, obviously, since he's gotten started. He's been swamped and done a great job of keeping up with it and, keeping us informed and working with the crews every day to ensure that they're ready to go. I also want to make sure that I thank the board for everything that you guys are doing for us right now, because you'll hear stories, HR stories from other departments, different places around where they're having issues. The one thing you guys did from day one was whatever we can do to protect the employees is what we want to do. And I think that's an amazing thing for you guys to do that and to say that and to put that out there for us. So, during these scary times for everybody, we're still trying to provide a good service, and we know that you guys are there to back us up and help us out on that. So again, I'll say thank you, whether it's from a supply standpoint, whether it's from benefits, and just your support in all this. It means a lot to all of us during this time. Hopefully we'll get through this, as best we can over the next few months. We'll keep everybody informed. Any questions at all on anything that we discussed last week on the phone, and make sure that we got a chance to discuss it? We have 2 guests on the line tonight from Morgan County. One is from the Harrison Township Fire Protection District Board, and another one is a Morgan County Commissioner. We have Sean Paris, which is the District Board President of Harrison Township. And then we also have Ryan Goodwin, who is the Commissioner from Morgan County. We discussed a couple weeks, probably 3 weeks ago, I was contacted by them and they wanted to talk about, by Sean, I apologize, and just kind of discussing, moving forward, looking at options for, the Fire Protection District over there in Morgan County, which is just west of us from our area where we're at. Our areas do butt up against each other. And we've been assisting, with mutual aid through the EMS calls over the past year. And I wanted to make sure that we had both of them on the phone tonight and give them a chance to kind of explain what's going on, what they're looking at currently. I tried to brief each and every one of you on where that's at. So, Sean, would you want to be the first one to come on tonight and kind of do a little talk here?
I can do that. Can you hear me okay, Chief?
Yes, I can.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody for the time tonight and give you a little background. I'm new to the board. One of the questions that I think I've got answered, and I want to say this is close to being accurate. I had a 911 director pull some stats straightforward, and that does come to fruition. I do think that we're going to have to help me with the acronym. Is it something to do with fire dispatch? Is it Lewisian or something? Does that sound about right?
Locution.
There you go.
Yep.
Our county is actually in discussion with Johnson County, regardless of whether or not we're able to come together with an agreement that's benefit for both of us. We would be able to dispatch you from our center, if that makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not sure if you have any other questions, if I've covered everything. Again, I'm new to this, so I apologize. Feel free to ask anything, and I will do my due diligence to answer it correctly.
All right, Sean, how about we let Ryan come on and speak for a minute, then we'll take questions at the end if that's okay. Does that work?
That would be great. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Goodwin, are you still on?
Yes, Chief and board members, thank you. Thank you to also Sean for given the small geographical size of the township doesn't always produce the assessed value that's needed to provide the level of service that the citizens want. It's also a peculiar corner of our county because of the busyness from State Road 37, soon to be I-69. So while it's our smallest township by far, and one of the smaller in the state, there's still a lot of people through there because of the highway and interstate. So we've always had a challenge. Sean is fairly new to the board, and a few of the board members have just been exploring different options that might be available to them. And so I'm mostly here to listen. And if there's a question I might be able to answer, I certainly would do that. If it's something I don't have the answer to, I certainly would track it down and make sure that it gets back to you all. But primarily just here to listen and be of any help that I can be. And we just appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
All right, Commissioner Goodwin, thank you very much for coming on tonight. What I'll do now is contracting services with Bargersville moving forward, starting in the July timeframe, depending on the board's actions and thoughts and everything else as they're moving forward. So, what I was wanting to do, I guess, is one, I wanted to have them come on and start the discussion. And I want to open it up now to anybody that may have any questions. Obviously, after tonight, what I would be asking for is consensus, I guess, from the board to press it in, and we'll go down that path. But I want to make sure that you had a chance to ask questions of Harrison's district board or one of their members that's on tonight, and then Commissioner Goodwin also, if anybody has any questions. So at this time, I will mute myself and open it up the floor to anybody that may have any questions for either one of them, and we'll let them answer.
I have a question. I know we have an MOU then currently. Is that correct? Yeah. How many of the 150 runs that were dispatched, how many did we go on last year already? Do you know, Eric?
Off the top of my head, I do not. Do you know what the total count was, Sean?
I can break it down for you. It may take a second, but I'd be happy to go through it.
Hey, Sean, I'm sorry. Is the 150 fire runs, does that include EMS calls as well?
I hate to tell you that, but I can tell you that the last item on what I was given says any medical run was 64. Some of these were actual structure fires. So I would think maybe EMS might be different. I hate to, I can track that down for you, but I don't know that I have to send the answer for it.
Okay. Yeah, and Amanda, I apologize. I don't have that in front of me right now, but I can get that number to you. I'll just have to pull the report.
I was just curious how many times we are already going there anyways. Before
Yeah, and this is Ryan, Harrison Township in total, averages over the course of the year about 3 runs a week. Obviously, we understand the public safety. It doesn't distribute itself evenly like that throughout the year, but that would be consistent with the number that Sean has from our dispatch director. And then Mr. Warren, Donnie Warren, who runs our EMS service, obviously you guys are aware that there is a mutual aid agreement, to your point, in effect for the EMS side. And my understanding is that you guys are sending a medic over on a truck while we're working to get the bus, if you will, up to the Harrison Township area. But as far as how that 150 is broken out, Sean and I would have to do a little bit of fact finding to get that perfect number for you.
Okay. Yeah.
What are the actual boundaries of Harrison Township? Does Harrison actually cross the river? What's the south boundary?
I think I can answer that pretty well for you. So if you're familiar with State Road 144, the river is actually where Madison Township and Harrison divide. So if you were to go past the Shell station, turn left, going towards what used to be Waverly, there's a park there now that's considered Old State Road 37. And then we run south to about, if I take you back out on 37, if you're familiar with Miles Furnishings, the furniture store was, that's going to be real close to where that township line to the south stops. And then obviously the other areas, we bumped up to Johnson County.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome, sir.
Questions from the board members tonight in regards to this? Okay, well, seeing no other questions at this time, yeah, but.
Hey, the one question I did forget to ask you the other day when we spoke, with 37 going to be being closed at 144 South, will that cause any hindrance in us covering their area?
Not that I know of. I believe everything that I'm looking at right now, is 144 is going to stay open. I'm supposed to have an emergency, meeting with emergency managers and some different people here soon with the I-69 representatives. They are going to close the southbound lanes at some point, or the access to the southbound lane. They are going to be sending people up the county line. That's going to be for the general public. I told them that can't work for us, and they agreed. They have an actual access for us that will be much closer than that. So if we're going south on 37, we'll still have a much quicker access than going up to the county line exit like they talked about for the general public. So the 144 bridge is always going to remain open. I believe the Whiteland Road access is still going to be open for us as well. So if we had to go down Bayona to Whiteland Road and cut across, I believe that we could also do that as well.
Waverly Road entering 37 is about to be permanently closed. I think within the next week or so. Were you aware of that one?
Yep, I got the same email today as well. And I've been attending the I-69 meetings. So far they've been really good to us on working on crossovers and helping us look into the design of everything as we're moving forward. I sit on a committee through the county. You know, it's always going to be hard, but from what I'm gathering from everything that I'm seeing, we're still going to have the best access to these areas than anybody. And we're working on making sure that we have emergency exits and access to these areas throughout this whole time.
Okay, Eric, the last thing I needed to say is you and I have talked, you know, my feelings on this, which I think you're very well understanding of. I have got to walk over to the shop right now. I've got the issue. Can you make sure I'm muted? I will still have my phone with me.
Okay. So where we're at right now is they have a current contract that they are under contract right now with their fire department. They pay, I believe, under contract, it's like $36,000 every 6 months is currently what the contract is. What I would like to ask of the board is just consensus tonight, and Eric, feel free to jump in if you need to, at whatever point. And what I'm asking for is consensus to work with the Harrison board and to work with, obviously, the commissioners and to kind of walk down this path and see what kind of contract they're looking at, what kind of, you know, money that we're talking, we're going ahead with this and making sure that, you know, there's no loopholes or anything else that we're walking into. Their contract is through the end of June. They obviously are looking at whatever they're going to do as they move forward will be a vote on their end. But, you know, putting together a contract, my thoughts are, just so you're hearing it from me now, is, you know, a 6-month contract at a time. If we do move forward with this and you vote to approve this in the future. So I guess I'm asking tonight for consensus from the board to be able to walk down this path and start putting this together possibly for them. I would say yes. I think you just want to be careful. I think the 6 months, if we keep it at a shorter contract like that, then if, you know, if they're unhappy with the services that we're providing, it gives them a chance to end it. You know, say a 30-day out, and Eric can jump in on this one as well. I would hate to leave somebody hanging with an out clause where we just say we're done, we're out. So to me, I think with the 6-month clause or the 6-month contract, that gives everybody time. If for some reason, say they were unhappy with the services we were providing, or they, you know, decided that they wanted to go a different direction, then they would have a few months to get that ready and everything, and we provide that protection until that point under contract. Does that answer your question? Eric, do you have anything you want to speak on to this?
One point would be there may be some different sort of protection for our board and our district under the circumstances of termination of the current contract. That's something that we can work on down the road, but that's would be in addition to what a normal service contract might look like.
Okay. All right. So I guess, and Eric, you can answer this real quick. Is consensus okay from the board tonight to, if we do a roll call and getting a consensus of moving forward with at least walking down this path and working towards a contract?
I think that's fine. And we're exploring the options. So the district's not committing anything tonight, but it's considering options and continuing discussions on this. So I think consensus from everyone is fine.
Amanda, if you don't mind, would you unmute and would you do a roll call, and can we do a consensus if that's okay?
Okay, so just
Someone's trouble.
sorry, it's a little hard to do that home with kids. Okay, so we did do a census. So everyone just say their name and say they agree. So Amanda Martin and I agree to get Chief to go down this path to research what a contract would look like.
Steve Duke, I also.
Dennis Stewart, I also.
Brett Henderson, I also.
Angela Bird, I agree.
All right. Sean and Ryan, as you heard tonight, I will reach out to you guys.
I just want to thank everybody for their time tonight, and hopefully we'll come up with something and we can move forward. So I'm excited with the opportunity.
All right. Well, Commissioner Goodwin and District Board President Sean, thank you so much for coming on tonight. We appreciate you guys coming in and speaking to us. We'll be in contact for the next few days as we're moving forward. You guys are welcome to go ahead and leave the meeting, so you don't have to finish out the rest of our meeting with us tonight unless you really want to. So you're welcome to, but I've got one other topic and then we're going to be done for the night. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, guys. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Chief, and thank you, Board.
Have a good night. Thank you. All right. I have one last item on my agenda for the night, and this one is kind of an action item, and it may be a consensus as well. But with everything that's going on right now with the coronavirus, with what we're dealing with, I feel like the department's done a great job. You guys have done a great job of supporting us, and we're doing a great job so far of keeping up and trying to make sure that everybody's protected and safe. But we also want to be prepared, and that means being financially prepared as we move forward. If things get worse, and I hate to say that, but if things get busier and we need to start staffing more personnel on a daily basis on the trucks, if we need to look at taking Medic 271 24 hours a day, if we need to fund some of these items moving forward and paying overtime and making sure that we're covered. So if we would happen to have a quarantine situation, any of those things that could happen in the future, obviously can put a big hit on the budget and the general fund. And we need to be able to enact something like that pretty quickly. All the supplies that we're buying currently, so far we've met all of the supply needs within the means of our current budget that we have, and we're not hurting it too bad, but I see us continuously buying supplies. I mean, any chance we get right now, we're trying to buy more. And the good news is the federal government has come out and said that they will reimburse us up to 100% on a lot of these items. So we're walking down that path to make sure that we're going to capture our funds at the end to make sure that we're covered. In talking with Caitlin, what we were thinking is what might make sense is to get consensus tonight from the board. What I'd like to ask for is I'd like to be able to take $125,000 of the rainy day fund, and I would like to be able to go and ask the county council in the future if we could do an additional appropriation out of the rainy day fund. And the only reason that I'm saying that, there's a good chance that we may not spend any of that money, even if we appropriate it, but having it appropriated and ready to go. And I also, in talking to Caitlin today, I feel like in the next 2 weeks, we're going to have a good understanding of where we're at, whether or not we're going to have to enact some of these things. If runs get busier, if we're seeing a downward trend, we need to, pull the trigger on bringing more people in, then we'll have that opportunity. We actually won't have to make a decision until April 22nd to submit an additional appropriation to the county. The county won't even meet until May 13th. I haven't even started down the path of talking to the councilors yet, but I thought tonight, since it's the 8th, we'd have 2 weeks to monitor. What I'd like to do tonight is ask for consensus from the board to be able to possibly move up to $125,000 of the rainy day fund, or I guess additional appropriation of the rainy day fund. So that way we could tag overtime costs, we could put, supply costs, we could put the med trucking service 24 hours a day if we need to do that. Those are all things that we could put towards that. And then it wouldn't affect the general fund and the overall budget. We would, be tagging those to the rainy day fund, the $125,000 that's there. We may not, hopefully we will never spend anything like that, but just being prepared as we move forward and having it ready to go to be able to do that. In 2 weeks from now, we may not submit at all on April 22nd. I'll be in touch with you guys by email to keep you informed of what we're seeing and what's happening. I'll be working with Caitlin, but if for some reason, it may be a year down the road before we get it. So using that money out of the rainy day fund, which we have sitting there, would be the best way to do that so it doesn't affect the overall budget. So all in all, I apologize for rambling on, but all I'm asking tonight is consensus that I can work with Caitlin and keep you guys informed as we move forward and have the ability to ask for an additional appropriation through the county of up to $125,000. If that number, we need way less than that, I may ask for less than that. but it'll just, over the next 2 weeks, we'll be monitoring and working with Caitlin, and we'll have a plan ready to go. So that's what I'm asking for tonight. So Amanda, if you don't mind, or I'll be happy to answer any questions first. So let me open it up. Is there any questions that anybody has in regards to what I'm asking for tonight? All right.
So, Amanda Martin, I.
I mean, excuse me, I think it'd be better to have a vote on this rather than consensus, a motion to authorize, Chief to have that ability to work with Caitlin, to make that financial move if, he deems it appropriate.
Okay.
I'll make a motion for Chief to work with Caitlin on whatever financial situation is he fit for this crisis that we're in right now.
With 125,000.
5,000.
Yeah, Angela could have the motion. Do we have a second?
I second Steve Duke.
All those in favor, do we need to go individually by
Yes,
ayes?
yes.
Danny Martin, aye.
Dennis Stewart, aye.
Steve Duke, aye.
Angela Pruitt, aye.
Hold on just a second, Brent. Let me unmute you. All right, there you go, Brent. Oh. Something's not working. Go ahead and hit your button to unmute. See if that works.
Anderson, aye.
There we go.
Okay.
All right. We'll work with Caitlin. And the real deal is no matter if we do spend that, it's just basically we'll be putting in for reimbursement once that's all said and done too. So the money will just come back at some point. It's just not knowing when we would get that back. So, all right. I believe that is everything that I have on my list tonight. Once again, thank you so much for all each and every one of you are doing currently. We really appreciate it. Your support has been great, and we'll keep you informed, and hopefully things will keep going good. So, Amanda, that is all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. I just want to take a moment and just thank the department for all they've done through all this. It's been a stressful few weeks for our community, and you guys have done a great job keeping a lot of people safe. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for all the hard work. And I appreciate I know I married him, but I appreciate the updates because I think it's just like, in general, I think it's good to know what's going on in the county. And I hope everybody feels on the board that they know exactly what's going on.
I agree. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we got to thank Stephanie at the county for basically allowing us to start up this incident management team. I think that working together, a countywide agency right now, and you guys allowing us to help out with that has been great. I mean, it's really brought everybody together, and we're just trying to put out a consistent message to the whole county, and make sure that we're doing what's best for everybody, and getting the PPE for all the parties involved and helping out. And we get calls on a daily basis from different entities in the county asking questions. So we're spending a lot of time helping out with that, but it's bringing a lot of peace to a lot of people and in a lot of different places, being able to have somebody to reach out to and hopefully get some answers. So glad that we're able to help out at least. So, all right, Amanda, I am done. Thank you.
Thank you. So, is there any board comments or public comments? Okay, so we'll just need a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
I think Steve made the motion, and I think Brent seconded it.
Yes.
Right.
So he is adjourned. Okay.
That'll adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you. That'll end our live broadcast as well. Have a good night.
Bye, Dave.
I know.